I wonder if you could start just by summarizing the remarks that we heard from Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of Defense. Yes, there was a formal speech. I gather he didn't mention Taiwan directly over the course of it. Then there was this kind of Q&A that followed it, and we saw the comments that he made to reporters there at the end. Summarize all of that for us, the tack that he's taking there at this important summit in Singapore.
Yeah, well, I was in the room for the speech, and hearing the entirety of it and not hearing Taiwan come up, not hearing Iran come up, it was a little jarring. Those are two of the top-of-mind issues in defense and security globally, and certainly here in Asia. He did take some questions afterward. One of them mentioned Taiwan. He sort of addressed it very briefly, but did not make any sort of additional comments about what was going to happen with the $14 billion arms package that is being proposed for Taiwan, but that President Trump has not yet approved. Many of his comments in general didn't deviate very far at all from things he has said previously about U.S. wanting to project power around the region, wanting to promote peace through strength, encouraging allies and partners here in the Asia-Pacific, Indo-Pacific region to spend more on defense. He even sort of took the time to make a little bit of a swipe at America's European allies, who have increased defense spending considerably in the last 2 years, but still in the minds of the Trump administration are not doing enough, certainly not helping in the Persian Gulf to open up the Strait of Hormuz, which is a massive priority for the administration at the moment.
Take note, he said, to Western Europe.
That's right.
Yeah.
I wonder what you're hearing in reaction to the things said and not said from those Asian allies. I think specifically about Vietnam, South Korea, Japan. You know, these are countries that previous administrations and the previous Trump administration, when I covered Secretary Pompeo, I think we went to Vietnam 3, 4, 5 times because that was an alliance that the administration thought could be very useful in that region. And trying to break down these historic animosities between South Korea and Japan and Vietnam to try to get them all on the same security footing, that effort has not been there, partially because the administration has had other things to do. But do these allies feel like when they reach out for the U.S., that the U.S. will consistently be there? And in lieu of that, in lieu of even having it spoken about to their satisfaction, what do they do?
Well, first of all, one thing that several people mentioned to me over the course of the day after the speech is that the way the U.S. sort of treats its allies and partners in Asia versus the way it treats its allies and partners in Europe might be reflective of the sort of threat that it sees, that it sort of sees China as a large and powerful adversary, and maybe Russia, which is a primary threat in the European theater, and perhaps not quite so much. And indeed, to your point about, how countries here in the Indo-Pacific see the U.S. relationship, it does feel, and this is something, again, that I've heard over the course of the day several times, it does feel as though it is perhaps more transactional now than it used to be.
Interesting.
That, relying on the U.S. to step in and be a partner is also, sort of slightly contingent now on, doing more of the types of things that the U.S. wants them to, even if they aren't necessarily in the best interest of the country's industry or other aspects.